I turned my sound all the way up when I started to make this post. You guys tell me if it sounds any better. Well, my day started. No, that one, this one's off. That one should be on. It started out pretty good. It started out with when I was thinking that my newer friends aren't going to know my older post, and my friend, one friend Diana, turns around and sends a post and says, it was really funny. He says, if you want to turn around and Easter egg hunt, what you do is you plant them in a stew, wait 30 minutes, and then turn around and try to find them. Well, I said, all you have to do is turn around. So that was the funny one. And then I was going to say that my newer friends don't know my older post, and my older friends won't remember my older post, so I can post all my older stuff again. I haven't done it because I figured, well, everybody's heard all that stuff. So I'm going to start from the beginning and repost all my Facebook stuff on YouTube and repost everything as I do it. And say, well, how many of you guys remember these? And I go into the bathroom, and I turn around. She goes, yeah, what exactly did she say? Well, we had a mishap with the cat, and I'll tell you what happened. Um, she said I'm rough and I said I thought you were gonna tackle me. She said I'm rough and tough and I'm really fast. And I'm really strong, right? And I let her give me her whole speech. It was really funny. She's all dancing around like she wanted to fight. I said, "Ma'am, I'm a military ninja instructor." She looked at me and goes, "I don't want to talk to you anymore. Have a nice day, ma'am." I said, "Nice to meet you." Well, she startled me. She came around the corner and went, and I was like, so that's how the day started. And I got home. I heard Mars crying. So I'm ripping apart the skirting on the bottom to get to it. And I'm really pissed off right now. I don't want to be here right now. This is the last place I want to be. So I rip off the skirting, and he's over by the tire. I don't know how he got in there. He must have hurt himself to get in there. That was pretty tight. It's the only place where Spook couldn't fit. He was just down there meowing, screaming his head off. So Spook was out there. No, I'm not so sure it's the cat. Now, when I came into this place, I was like, okay, I think somebody's been in here. So I started looking for clues. Short black hair on my computer screen, like this. Randy's doesn't have any short hair. Maybe on his arms, but it's never fallen off. Then I bought 3 Cadburys. What these guys used to do, they used to go through my house and look for stuff. They would plant stuff on you and all kinds of shit. Well, they're not doing the planting, but they are doing the where they come in and try to find stuff. Oh, it's opened. I wonder if that paperwork's still here. It's not. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's still here. Well, that's what they've been doing. Now, I don't know who's doing this. I think it's socialism. I think it's some government plan to where steal all your money, make you a bad person, make you look bad, and everything else. So when I'm coming back from Steamboat, this guy who was part of the 3 that were over at Wells Fargo, who I think were the trust thieves that started the thing, were over there. One of them's in jail. The other one I saw riding his bicycle. He kind of winked on me. So if they were just hanging out, they were just hanging out. But the other girl got arrested. The one that said something snotty and said, "All I'm trying to do is get my balance, and you're giving me shit." Oh, this is what a check is. I said, "Ma'am, I know what a check is. I'm not a 16-year-old little snotty little brat." And I got up and walked out. Wells Fargo and Steamboat. Uh, went over to the Glacier Bank. They ripped me off, so I closed the accounts. And they rerouted $500, pulled it out of my account, said I stole it, when it came from my account. Now when I get my accounts and I get my statements and all that stuff's there, I could file all that stuff. Guess what else I found out? Capital One and Chase are on my these thing as fraud. The exact amount that were taken out of my accounts that day. So I'm gonna go take all my paperwork back over to the place Monday and have it all copied over again. I'm gonna explain what's going on. See this right here? Once I get my accounts open and everything else, I told them I was out $65 trillion. So I wanted copies of it where I could hide them somewhere. That way they come by and get the original stuff. I still have my copies. I'm going to take pictures of it. It works pretty good because the pictures go everywhere. And OneDrive locks out somebody that doesn't know the password. So I guess I'll just take pictures. But anyway, to make a long story short, the day's been kind of shitty. So I shouldn't say this. I love Randy to death, but when I'm complaining about the cat and he said cats will be cats, I know why he's single. You can get a girl. You just can't keep one. Well, if he has some other problems that don't bother me, that really pissed me off. That didn't. That hurt. I mean, I hear I'm calling him for support. Mars finally came out, and I retaped the thing over. So the wind's going to blow it off. And anybody tampering with it, it won't. It would stop at 50, 60 mile an hour wind. I think I would like a camera on there to see if somebody's sneaking in on the other side away from the cameras. And then getting in somehow. I know they could get around it doesn't matter. They can get around those cameras anyway. They just shut them off and put a hole there. I know my neighbor's been doing that too. He stole some tools of mine, and I asked him, did he need a tool set? Because I was going to give it to him. He asked if I needed a tool set. I said no. But I realized at that time when he was doing that he was actually using my tools. That's why I was getting in there. I think Kenny thinks this is his place. I think that because we live in a motorhome and he wants to use the property to rent it out to work on his stuff, that he just comes over and does stuff. You know what he told me? Step 1 foot on my property, you're going to shoot me. I almost went over there today and said, hey, knock on his door. I said, I'm on your property. Why don't you go get your gun? And then he sticks it around that door to pull it on me. I moved. I don't know. I don't think I could be friends with these people anymore. It's too hard. The cat's harassing our cats if he did it. If not, somebody else is harassing the cat. The cat's in here now sleeping. He came in and ate. Mama was still fine. But the bullshit that I put up with living here, this is almost as bad as apartment 45. Now, this is kind of funny. This guy's tossing around this kid. I think it might have been Bruce. Could have been somebody else. And I, up on top, I said, good move. And I clap and I come down. I said, I'd wrestle with you, but I'm a little bit pregnant and right now. I probably shouldn't. And he said, I'm a WWF fighter. I got tired of breaking jaws and breaking bones and stuff like that. And I said, well, you wouldn't win. And I stood there just like I did across the guy's leg. He comes over and goes, what did you say? I said, dude, you walked all the way over there for that. This is what I said. What did you hear? Now that's funny. So I started talking to him and everything. He says, I'm a professional boxer and whatever the fuck he is. I said, I'm a military ninja instructor. I really don't give a fuck about what you can do. Yeah, you can hit me, you can knock me down, you can knock me out. Maybe if you get lucky. But if you don't, you're going to lose. And if you do, I'm going to come back, find out who you are, where you live, and I'm going to turn around and have you arrested. After I investigate you and see what else you're doing. I am about ready to investigate Kenny. I know when they change their license plate, they got to be doing something. I know the amount of traffic that goes through there, they got to be running something. And now they piss me off with the cat. And it's not their fault. And then Roddy says cats will be cats. I'm like, dude, that's fucked up. Cat was crying. I was trying to find it. I don't know how I could help it. Well, I didn't know you couldn't get on the other side. I thought it was open. Well, now I know it's all closed off, so I don't care if he gets down there. Good hiding place for him. Trust me. I might file a complaint about the cat and animal abuse. Or if I do, I won't tell anybody what I'm doing. They'll get one, but they won't know who did it. I don't know. I'm just been out of shape over this bullshit that I have to live because I live next door to these people. But let me tell you this, and I'm going to turn on the heater. It's getting cold in here. When I first moved in here, Kitty walks up the property, looks at my truck, and says, "If you don't move tomorrow, I'm going to move you." I just looked at him like, "Okay, old man, what do you think?" I didn't say anything. Now, we had his ex living over here, and I think her and Kenny were good friends. She was a succubus, and I think she told me one day, she said, "Well, I'm going to kill two birds with one stone." I said, "Randy, you know, that girl has made you really depressed over the years and everything. Total psychopath." He told me he had a date. That's what bothers me when he gets depressed. And she said, "Kill two birds with one stone." I said, "Okay, little miss, I want to find out what you're doing wrong. I'm going to look into your family and find out what they're doing wrong. I should have looked into that family before I moved there. I'm a bank thief." And I found out who quite possibly could be running the show down there in Douglas through the trust heist on my accounts. Who had all my information? Tanisha and Sean. Sean almost got his butt kicked the other day when I was down there just before I left, talking about how bad and how good he is and everything else, and how he's number one martial artist. I'm looking at him and I'm going, "Dude, you ain't shit." Um, Dylan, I like Dylan. Dylan was a lot of fun. His brother, on the other hand, they look just as like their twin brothers. One lives in that town outside of over there by Utah, Vernal, and the other one lives in Grand Junction. So one day I was out there, and Dylan wanted me to dig a hole, and he wanted me to work with him. I probably could have. I would have been better off. I probably would have not figured out the things I did over here and everything else because it tapered off a little bit. But he takes this bar and starts flipping around. I'm watching him. I'm ducking. I'm moving around. He popped me in the head. The next one, he put up. I took it from him. He's like, "Oh my God, you got it." I'm staring at the guy for a second. I turn around, put it down, and walk to my room, shut the door. Um, his brother brought a cooler back that was all taped up and everything else. Now, he was going to go and use the restroom because he'd been traveling for a while. He looked at me and looked at the cooler, brought the cooler inside. I thought it was a stiff. That's what I thought. I left shortly after that. Yeah, where did I go? I moved to apartment number 45. Jordan had a problem with the guy because, yeah, he didn't pay rent. He screwed around with people and everything else. Of course, he didn't have problems. I didn't know that until I lived with him. But I saved his butt a couple times for being beat up. So he was down at the park, and I told him, I said, "I'm really going to fuck up these people. I don't care who they are." And he looked at me, popped his head over, looked across the park, and said, "I know who you guys are." I was over at a truck stop, and these guys were having a picnic down there. And I got to pause this. John Hennessy with me that trip. And I took some pictures of him. "Oh, we don't want you to take pictures." I said, "Why not? I have legal right to take pictures of you in this picnic. It's a public place. You don't have anything that says no recording or anything like that. I can take the picture." You know what? That picture came off like a camera back over. This is shit that happened 20 years ago. Sean Hennessy was in my truck. He's the one that did that. He tried to flirt with me and everybody could. He tried to fuck me, ask for sex, and everything else. He knew my situation. I think what happened When I went to sleep, he gassed me and fucked me whenever he wanted to. He was probably not the first. Probably won't be the last. I told this all of my friend that works at Homeland Security. You tried to hire me a few years ago. Anyway, make a long story short, I didn't take the job, but Tennessee caught a bullet over there off the 70. The guy that I went to play pool with over there in it's one of those places over by Douglas. I used to go that I used to stop at the truck stop and play pool in it. I go down there and met this guy. He came in the junction with his dad. Yeah, Christian dude, really nice guy. So I started talking to him, made friends with him. Went over to his house, played pool a couple of times. Black guy. I don't know if you wanted me pretty bad. I probably should have married him. His dad's that guy that's 104 years old now. I still see him every once in a while on the net. Good to see you again. Forgot your name, but remember you. Haven't seen him in a while. So anyway, make a long story short, he talked about a 2.5 mile hit. Well, the guy's a government agent. Of course you're gonna brag about that shit. Well, when he said that, I realized mine was 2.5. So 2.2. So anyway, he broke my record. What was I bragging about? They filtered out a view. He was the guy that took out Hennessy. Now I asked him. I said, "Well, you guys just do the paperwork on this shit." He says sometimes it's just easier. Hennessy was a professional. Now Hennessy was actually Sean Adams. I figured that out after knowing Heather Adams bragged about stealing $286 million out of accounts. She's still alive? Maybe. Now, this whole thing started because of the guy down there really, really pissed me off. And my neighbor was talking about putting a gun to my head. Won't be the first, won't be the last either. Now, I was worried about England drafting me. I wrote Donald a couple of letters about the trust heist and everything else, why I started this. Told him I was off $65 trillion. Now I found out that my Capital One, my Chase, that's been written for fraud, that they pulled out of my accounts, out of my Chase and Capital One account, which started the trust, what started my, about 4 years ago, my $130,000 worth of credit card fraud. I have a copy of that stuff. It pisses me off that these guys do this shit, and they think they're going to get away with it. And I'm going to probably take copies of those next few days. I don't care if they steal it. I don't care if they pull the paperwork from me. It doesn't matter. What matters is they're going to get their asses kicked anyway. We have all the records. That's why I created the team. I talked to my friends when I disappeared that one night, and I had that baby and came back. That's when I created the team. So now you know who they might be, but you don't know who they are. And they don't like you guys. The only reason why I'm still here is Randy. If it wasn't for Randy, I would have left a long time ago. This place sucks. People are never going to get it. They're never going to try to go to love because the government doesn't want that. Now, if Donald wins this next election, which he's going to because the Democrats aren't going to run, there won't be an election. He's literally changed the way that our system works, which is good because these guys are on a path of self-destruction, which would actually destroy the world if it gives up. The world is not going to give up unless things are really bad. It doesn't have any good people. But what it's going to do is going to put a couple of people in power and protect it. And I don't want the job. I was afraid England was going to draft me. They might. Yeah, they don't need me. Neither does Donald. Now, my Netspin card doesn't work. So somebody been locked up for fraud again. So I'm going to get in and check that right now. Thing for Donald, the $70. I've been complaining about that, but I haven't told anybody. Now, if it's one of my things that I bought, like um, the people search, been verified, yeah, it's mine. I have to verify it. That's what I'm going to do right now, is verify my account. And I'm going to go ahead and post this and go to bed. I can take pictures tomorrow, next day, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they take the paperwork. They ain't going to win. When I file it, they're going to do the investigation. They already have all the stuff. They've been watching me for years. Fuck you. Man, they locked out my account, so I've got to call them. I'll do that later. I can't even review the account anymore. You fucking assholes. I think when I get control of my other stuff, I'm just going to use a debit card with the banks. I'm not going to use NetSpend anymore. I'm tired of this. If it's the $70,000, fine. If it's something stupid that I'm using, then they shouldn't do this to me. Because they locked out my card. The guy at the store didn't do it. Well, anyway, here's another 22-minute video from Shit for Brains, like Lyle used to say. I don't know, people are just, they're shitty. They're fucked up in the head. They don't care about human life anymore. And honestly, I'm getting to the point where I don't either. If you guys do certain things different ways, I might react. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and join the FBI. I'm going to say I'm retired, but I'm re-enlisting retired. I want to do this so when I have problems with my credit cards and stuff like that, I could go down to the bank and say, look, I'm an agent. I want a PIN for my account. What are they going to do? Who cares? I don't care what happens. But the funny thing, they started out really good and then kind of shitty with that card. But I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm not going to let the paperwork bother me or anything else. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. Oh, I got to clean that box out. I'm going to take it, I'm going to pull this off, put them on top of there. And I'm just going to dump the whole thing, put it back in, and then be done with it. It'd be real easy for me to do that. Well, I was just going to stay in for a couple of days. Well, peace out. I'll post this in a little while. I got to clean the cat box up. Laters.